Hey everybody, I'm shooting this video on Super Bowl Sunday, hence the sweatshirt, although it is a St. Louis Rams sweatshirt, but that's okay. It's going to be a fun evening watching the game, but I wanted to talk about this new palette from NYX that I've been using for the past couple of weeks, and it is the Dreamcatcher palette, and there are several different varieties of this palette. I think there are actually 3, and I have the one called Dusk Till Dawn. It contains 10 shadows. They kind of look like that baked style. You know, if you really get up close to them, maybe you can see that they're a little bit domed up. And so I was really kind of questioning what the texture would be like when I first saw these at Ulta, because I know sometimes it can be a little hit and miss. Sometimes baked shadows, or shadows that appear to be that way, can be very dry and flaky. Sometimes they're really nice and pigmented. But these actually kind of surprised me with their texture. They were quite a bit softer than I thought, but they're not like off the charts amazing, you know what I mean? There's still a little dryness, kind of flakiness there. One indication of how dry a shadow is when I do my swatches, and then I'm able to just wipe them right off my arm with a Kleenex as opposed to needing like a wet wipe or needing to get it under running water to remove the darkest shades. These all just kind of wiped right off with a Kleenex. So kind of dry. They still can be worked with and work nicely over a primer, but I have a few complaints. And I have a few complaints also because this is a $15 palette and I think it's kind of overpriced. Let's just talk about the colors that are in here first. There are 2 matte shades, a matte black and then this matte taupe color. Then moving over on this row, you've got like a shimmery brown. This is kind of like a rosy taupe type shade, a really deep bronzy shade, and then more of a classic kind of warm bronze. And then over here we've got like 2 goldeny shades, one a little bit more yellowy than the other. This light kind of highlight shade, sort of a satin finish on that, and then a deep shimmery plum. There are a couple of shades in here, most notably this shade and this shade, that do have a little bit of sparkle, but other than these 2 mattes, it's just kind of like varying levels of a little bit of shimmer to quite a bit of shimmer. So to glance at this palette, I mean, I think they look really pretty, and I think the way they are domed, I mean, see the way the light's hitting them, I mean, it's a pretty looking palette, and that kind of drew me to actually purchase the thing. But ultimately, I feel like I don't end up getting that many different looks out of this. I'm actually pretty pleased with the matte shades. I mean, the black is pretty rich and black, but as for these other kind of mid-tone to deeper colors, it's like they just don't really pop too much one from the next. If the question to me is, you know, are you really happy with that purchase? Would you seek it out and buy it again? No. I really think it's just an okay palette. You can get some pretty smoky looks out of it, but just be advised that they're all gonna look kind of similar, like when you use this shade, this shade, this shade, this shade. They all just have a very similar effect on the eyes and not a lot of pigmented color pops from any of them. Just to walk you through the look that I did today so you can see these shades in action, I took this kind of yellowish gold and I put that all over my lid. Again, it was on top of a primer. Just patted that on the lid, and then I took the purple and I patted that a little bit on the outer part of the lid and just sort of placed the shade exactly where I wanted it in the outer corner and in the crease, and then I just blended over that a little bit. One thing that I really like about this palette is this shade right here. It's a little bit rosy and it's just a nice mid-tone color to kind of be like a transition shade, so I used that over the border of the purple. It really softened that edge, and then I used this pearly shade as my highlight. I also went under my lower lash line with the plum as well. I just feel like the market is really flooded with neutral palettes these days. I mean, we all know this from high-end to drugstore. You know, there's a lot of neutrals going on out there. So if you've already purchased quite a bit, or you're thinking about purchasing several different ones, I wouldn't necessarily put this on your list of must-buys. I just don't think it's that amazing or gives that much versatility. But that's just my opinion, my honest take on the products. I think if this palette would have had maybe more of these kinds of textures going on, these mattes, which were actually really nice, I think maybe I might have a little bit different opinion of it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking time to tune in, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.